Math makes me feel, sometimes it makes me feel challenged, but other times if I get something right, it makes me feel like very smart and very proud of what I can accomplish and what I can do.
Like I'm more engaged in the math and then I have more fun. Fact fluency helps me understand math and it makes the problems stay in my mind so they just don't go out and I forget them.
And sometimes when we try different ideas, it's like it works out better than what we say.
Most importantly, we get to work together in math.
I look at the classroom with a variety of learners as my audience. So what I need to capture is everyone's attention first, but also their understanding and the way they understand. In our class, we do that by using concrete, pictorial, and abstract thinking. ASL is special because students are meta where they are. So that means we have a real understanding of the student's ability with an understanding of how they can grow as a mathematician. Every student in the classroom is seen as a mathematician, and we encourage that growth mindset into how to apply themselves and then push forward.
So with our new Building Fact Fluency program, I think it's really helped students get engaged because it always starts with a real world context. For many students, starting with the real life and starting with a context and a story is so helpful to them. When students are building fluency, it's really important for them to have multiple different ways to practice. So we practice through games, which helps build their motivation and is really low stakes. But it's also important for them to have practice kind of self-reflecting, kind of when they're doing their facts, sorting them so that they're more aware of which are coming more fluently, which they're still working on.
And so one of the beautiful things about the Building Thinking Classroom curriculum and format that we've been using is that it puts the learning on them. It puts the motivation on them. So when they're out there learning, you can see that all the kids are engaged.
Throughout the lesson, we might say hold up, let's look at this board. Let's look at the way a friend solved this problem and compare and contrast it with a strategy that someone else used. And looking at those boards, instead of me saying hey, look at this, here's how you do it. Step 1, this, step 2, this, step 3, this. We really believe that learning is social. That really shows up in our math workshop.
But the conceptual understanding is always the underpinning to everything. So the focus in our lessons and in our work is to make sure that that foundation is laid and not the other way around. So the primacy of algorithms or just knowing your math facts is not given precedent over conceptual understanding.
Having ownership and being able to justify their answers and prove them first and foremost to themselves really empowers them to feel much more positively about math and excited about what they're doing.
What makes math at ASL so special is so many things. I think a big cornerstone of that is our math coach. She comes in, she models lessons, she brings new things into the classroom, like our Building Fact Fluency program, our Building Thinking Classrooms program.
We know that when we time students to complete a bunch of facts, it raises their anxiety and it makes it much harder to perform. And so we're using developmentally appropriate ways of teaching the basic facts that don't involve making students feel anxious or nervous. But those who really excel in math, when they're thinking about a problem, many different parts of their brain light up. This tells us it's really important to connect mathematics to different areas, that math needs to be visual as well as abstract as well as conceptual.